California Pizza Kitchen, my favorite salad in all of chain dining, but bread portions designed to incite conflict.
The perfect size dishes for my belly, but the most forgettable bathrooms I've ever been inside.
They did a good attempt at decor, but a bad attempt at a pizza that everyone seems to like. I'm looking for the most mediocre restaurant in America, and this week, California Pizza Kitchen is up to bat. Is it the place where the good and the not good are in perfect alignment? Let's find out. This is the Fine Dining Podcast.
Your table is ready, take a seat. The flavor of the day is mediocrity. Wouldn't you like to try a bite? Guarantee it'll be the perfect bite. Fine dining, better than you thought, worse than you hoped. Fine dining, we don't treat mediocre as a joke. Ranking every single place we've been, looking for the perfect 5 out of 10.
All right, everyone, I'm your host, Michael Ornelas. Welcome to Fine Dining. This week, I got to go to California Pizza Kitchen with my guest, a stand-up comedian and CPK former employee, enthusiast, lover, future CEO, Holly Brown.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again.
Welcome.
I am a part-time lover to CPK and a full-time friend.
We are gonna get into it because, look, I'm looking for the restaurant that is the perfect 5.00 out of 10 on the tchotchke of mediocrity because I'm trying to destigmatize what it means to be just fine. Because I myself, I'm not exceptional.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Let's be okay. Living in the middle.
I love that. I connect with that so much. I think there's comfort in being good, but not great.
Yeah.
There's a familiarity with being just mid.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think it's attainable. And in this world right now, that's what we need.
Look, there's a reason that I chose chain restaurants instead of like the nicest meals I could have. Those they take something out of you. It's like energy to go to a Michelin star restaurant.
And you also are forcing yourself to want to like something so much that I feel like it skews your dining
experience. It's good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you go to a place that you're like, well, I think it's a safe bet. And then you can kind of gauge from there.
It's consistent.
I love consistency. Security in my dining preferences.
And that's what we get. So we are going to talk about all the things good about our meal at CPK. And then we're going to talk about all the things not good about our meal at CPK, and we're going to pit them against each other and see exactly which one wins out, the good or the not good, and where does it score on the tchotchke of mediocrity. And we'll also talk about the stuff that was, it was there. It was just there.
That's a lot.
Yeah. In a show about mediocrity, you got to include what was just there.
Of course.
But I want to know what was good, what was bad. So our table is ready. Let's jump on in.
This is the good, done like it should be. The stuff that's finger licking, or sticking the landing. This is the good, I knew that you could. This is the good.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. A lot of what was good about this place is the food. I do think when you're breaking it down by the atmosphere, the service, and the food is the standout part of a CPK.
Yeah.
And it's not like standout in the way that like the nicest restaurants you've been to stand out. But
I start to fight. Hey!
Holly, no. I have flashbacks when the camera's off, guys. She doesn't pull it. Yeah, like the food here is consistent. It's good. It's not, well, there are some things that I freaking love.
I know. I think it has those menu items that are genuinely great.
Yeah.
And that's something that to me is like, it sets it apart from other restaurants because it has menu items that are like, they don't taste like they're from a chain restaurant, in my opinion.
Yeah, no.
Those specific ones.
So let's jump into one.
Yeah.
The first thing that we got to eat, the white corn guacamole and chips.
Yeah.
It was a much bigger portion than they used to give.
Like triple bigger than they used to give.
Like this was 4-2. This was not like, oh, okay, I guess and that's what it used to be. So I don't know when this change happened. I also
I don't
didn't
know.
notice like what the price difference was.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
either.
sure it's
You're
more
so
expensive.
right.
I'm sure it's more expensive.
Man.
But the chips tasted fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were made in-house, but they tasted like it.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, that illusion is what matters.
Mhm.
So the guac itself, they asked, do you want peppers on top? And I think it was like jalapenos?
Jalapenos and onions.
And onions.
Mhm.
Jalapenos and onions. And jalapeno's not the hottest pepper,
Mhm.
but it has a kick. And for some reason, kicks my ass. I can do a habanero, but like jalapeno, which is way less on the
Mhm.
Scoville scale, will kind of kick my butt sometimes. Here, it was just pleasant.
Yeah, I don't really like jalapenos personally, but I love the essence of jalapeno. I kind of like the
Like you like the flavor, but not the heat?
Absolutely. I don't like the texture of jalapenos,
Gotcha.
but I love the flavor. So I feel like I got a little bit of that. It was nice.
Yeah.
But the chips were so fresh. They gave you big chips too. They weren't like all broken up chips.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens a
No,
lot.
it was whole chips.
Yeah.
It was plated remarkably. I'm
Mhm.
bragging about the plating
It was
at
beautiful.
California Pizza Kitchen, but it was consistent across their dishes.
It was colorful. The guac was colorful because
Yeah.
it had the lime wedge. It had the pink onions.
On top,
On
yeah.
top.
And so it was like, hey, here's some contrast.
Mhm.
This thing was really good too.
I loved it.
It was such a fresh guac, and I'm like, I feel weird raving about the guacamole at just a chain restaurant at a California Pizza Kitchen,
Mhm.
but I've got to acknowledge this belongs in the good.
I 100% agree. This is a genuinely good appetizer to get now, especially now that it's shareable. It's something that I feel like more people can enjoy because before, if it was tiny. It was a little tiny
It was
little
delivered,
portion.
and it was immediate disappointment. Not even because of the
Mhm. Not the
taste
flavor,
of it.
right?
Yeah, it was just, this is it.
And when
And
you
they
do
fixed
bite
that.
in and you enjoy the flavor, you're like, well, I have one more bite left
Yeah,
of this
It was
dish.
very stingy for
Yeah.
a while. So I'm glad that's been updated.
I loved it.
I went 7 out of 10 on the white corn guac
I gave
and
it
chips.
I gave it a 7 out of 10 as well. Oh my God.
Oh my Lord. Off to a strong start. All right. Do you want to, I guess, alternate with, you have a good thing you want to bring?
So CPK has done a redesign since I worked there.
Which, honestly, their redesign was like years ago. But
I've seen the redesign. I think I haven't been to multiple different versions of this redesign. And I think it's good. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's better, but I really like the booths. I think they did a good job of the booths. They're very cute. They feel cozier, especially for if you're going there for lunch. It feels like an actual lunch spot.
there's like a
the booth.
green and white pattern
Yeah.
that almost looks like a Florida mom's curtains.
I love that though.
Right?
It feels very comfortable, but not too cheesy.
It's a pattern that I expect to see in someone's home while they're crocheting.
Oh, it's absolutely a pattern of a wallpaper in Animal Crossing, you know?
It was just like visually, it was pleasant. It didn't stand out.
Mhm.
And I mean that in a good way. It wasn't like, oh, what's that ugly design? I really do like the vibe. Big open windows, sunlight coming in.
Yeah. They're very good with utilizing natural light. And I just feel like as a person that's worked in and been in as a patron in many restaurants, having a cloth for a booth is ideal. It's not going to break and tear as much.
Yeah.
It's
You're not going to stick to
You're not
it.
going to stick to it.
I'm a guy who sticks to booths. You can look at me and you're like, that guy sticks to booths. You are absolutely
You're
right.
not going to stick.
I leave my shadow behind on a booth.
Okay, Peter Pan.
Yeah, you literally see a silhouette of like, oh, that's where Michael was.
Yeah. Not on this one.
Yeah.
No, that was a perfect design choice in my opinion. Just a good upgrade.
Then they also had like over the bar. So the bar area is kind of where they have their
Mhm.
signature yellow color. There's a lot of yellow tiling
Yes.
along the bar, and looks sleek enough. It didn't seem super active over there, but there's an open kitchen element to it.
Yes.
I don't think the whole kitchen is open, but that part
No,
of
the
it
pizza
is.
area. They always make
Yeah.
that where people are watching people make the pizzas. And that I do think, I don't know. I've never been to Italy. You call me crazy, but it feels a little like
You're crazy.
don't call me crazy. It feels a little like, we're paying an homage to how people have enjoyed pizza elsewhere. It's like we're watching it, the preparation, we're appreciating it a little more.
But this is the way California does it.
And every time you look over and the chefs are like, hey, hey,
they literally toss up dough like yeah. It's like, whoa, catch a wave.
Yeah, you have to say gnarly instead of thank you.
Gnarly. Namaste.
Yeah.
You have to bow your hands. You also, right when we walked in, you saw there's a barrel at the front and you just went, how rustic. And I was like, yeah, that's a word I know what it means.
Well,
I hear it all the time, but I couldn't define rustic.
It is kind of a weird choice. The barrel was a weird choice to me because it's like, where's the California in a barrel besides wine?
Well, so to me, that's where the Italian cuisine comes in. Like, think macaroni grill. There's a lot of casks and barrels.
Yeah, that's true.
All over a macaroni grill. And I believe in my research, I don't think their current. No, I do think their current ownership company also owns On the Border and Macaroni Grill.
Well.
So I guess they borrowed that barrel.
Yeah, they just had a lot of extra barrels.
If I'm wrong about that, one of the companies that owned in the lineage of CPK owned those companies.
Gotcha.
But it was definitely, And I like a macaroni grill. And I like barrels. They remind me of Donkey Kong Country.
I love that.
And so
Absolutely.
I'm just like,
Hop
I just
right
want to
in.
like hit it and like get a monkey out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about the barrel entirely. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
When we sat down, I was like, the barrel just felt oddly placed.
Yeah.
So
it was. And it had like a sign for pizza with a purpose. And it was encouraging you to fundraise with CPK.
Wow.
So I don't know if the barrel was supposed to represent like a piggy bank or somewhere where you put money or whatever.
I think it was just a big fat shelf.
Yeah, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
They did have a lot of like nice handwritten signs showing off like specials and like desserts and stuff like that. All this to say, I feel like the atmosphere did work to the benefit of this experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess talking about the service, I think it was ever so slightly in the good category.
Okay.
I wasn't blown away by it, but like she was nice, she was pleasant. The people that came out and like brought some extra to-go boxes were very attentive.
She didn't forget anything.
But it was also like, I like to build a rapport. I mean, I'm that guy who when I take like a Lyft or an Uber, I like a conversation. It's just a personal preference. I'm not saying one's better or worse, but beyond just like the magic trick of like I put in my phone number and she's like, are you from Texas? Like beyond that, there wasn't a lot of banter.
Okay.
And again, that's not a critique, but it's what I would like more of.
Yeah. I thought she did a good job. I thought she peppered in the right amount. Like for me, I thought she peppered in the right amount. I'm also coming from a different headspace when it comes to these kinds of things because I am like the most forgiving customer of all time.
Sure. No, I don't have complaints about it.
When it comes to being a server, somebody could be the worst server of all time to me. And I'd be like, they're probably having a bad day, everybody. just tip them 25% at least.
Yeah.
I thought she was great.
The only thing that'll affect the way I tip someone is if they are actively hostile or rude towards me.
That tracks.
And so like, I don't care if they're bad as long as their attitude's okay. And, they at least recognize the situation or whatever. But you mentioned an element in the opening that I don't even think about often enough that I really should. And that's the pacing of like the dishes coming out. And you might have some insight as someone who did serve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you eyeballing how fast they're moving? Or is it just when this hits the table, I wait 10 minutes or?
So I know specifically for CPK, it depends on your POS system. That's your point of service system. That's basically what you're putting your orders in on the screen.
Yeah.
That's POS. And so it depends on that and that functionality. Like CPK uses one where you have the ability to delay an item. So you can put items in and then you can delay. I can't remember if you delay it like by time or if it's just basically like delay
until I say otherwise.
Yeah, but you can put the whole order in. That way you don't have to be like stopping and starting and going back. And then the system delays it. Now, there's other POS systems that don't allow that. And you as a server, while you're juggling everything everyone else is asking you, have to just remember pacing when that's happening. So it's interesting to not know that information as a customer.
Yeah.
And like it is props to the server when they don't have that functionality and they have to remember it all themselves.
It drives me crazy. And so one thing that does come up and has come up many times is I do notice that just post-pandemic, there is a much more noticeable lack of bussing tables that I see.
Interesting.
And here, they weren't doing a lot of bussing, but we weren't finishing anything.
Yeah.
We had like half portions on our plate. It's like, we're not letting those go to waste. We're going to get to-go containers. So no part of that factors into a point against them here.
Yeah.
But I've definitely had places where it's like, hey, I'm sitting behind 3 obviously fully finished plates. Could you take them and make some space? And that to me also feels like a part of pacing is making sure you have that table space for the other things.
For those gigantic plates, you gotta.
Yeah.
We're 2 people.
We are 2 people.
We are 2 people, and those plates took up a lot of space.
Yeah. We'll get into that in the not good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want to jump back to another food item.
Great.
My favorite salad.
Yeah.
In all of the Thai crunch salad is, to my tastes, the best salad I've ever had. It's chicken, it's cabbage, like shredded, like a little bit of carrot, maybe.
Definitely.
A peanut sauce. You can get it with avocado added. Crispy wonton. And the crispy wontons are so crunchy in the right ways. This thing looks so fresh. I'm going to put it on screen. Oh, I love this salad. I love the Thai crunch chicken salad at CPK. I want to marry it.
I was just about to say, why don't you marry it already?
I want to.
Put a ring on that wonton strip.
There was a woman who like married a train station, so like anything's possible.
Honestly, I respect your decision more. Like at least yours is offering you something in the way of nourishment.
Sure.
A train is just getting you from A to B, baby. I love your passion for the salad so much.
But you do not share it.
No, I don't share it, but I fully understand it because I worked there and I saw how many people loved it.
Yeah.
Like it truly is a standout menu item. And on the menu itself, it said a CPK classic.
Yeah.
I looked at the other salads. The other salads did not say that. Not even their like other, I would say like, flagship salad, the barbecue chicken salad, which I am obsessed with. Oh my God, Michael, I didn't even talk about CPK's ranch.
Did you have ranch today?
No, but I think about it and I dream about it.
Okay.
I am so obsessed with their ranch, which none of the things we got today I would necessarily put with ranch. But my other order that I get sometimes is I basically order and then I call to the restaurant and I'm like, can you please include all of the ranch that is acceptable? It is a divisive opinion I have because not a lot of people like this ranch, but the people that love it, love it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely just buy it in bulk and drink it.
Drink it?
No, that's a little extreme, but listen, if I got high enough, it is so good. And the barbecue chicken salad is my favorite restaurant salad. So I understand your passion.
You understand my passion and
completely.
CPK's prowess at making good salads.
I think they really make really good dressings, salad dressings. Have you had their others?
No, but this doesn't feel too heavy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I love, but it is not dry ever. There is not a bite without it.
And it's not too thin either, the dressing.
Look, you're not going to hear me do this often. A salad? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Wow!
I order it every time I go to CPK.
Yeah.
Even if I'm eating other things, I will get one to go. I'll just take a half order. I'll be like, I'll eat this later. It carries, a day or two really well.
Absolutely.
So, I love this salad.
It's very like power business lunch. You go in, I'll take a half Thai crunch salad, and then you eat your Thai
crunch. And a full pizza and put spaghetti on it.
They probably would. They probably done that in the test kitchen.
Right.
But
they are nuts.
It feels like a really a sharp choice, man. Yeah. Thai crunch salad, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun and smart.
Yeah. You want to talk about your entree?
I would love to. I eat this. This is something I order every single time I go to CPK.
Yeah.
It is the garlic cream fettuccine pasta. It is genuinely good. Now, let me tell you.
What a qualifier.
Well,
don't let your brain deceive you.
I don't think I don't honestly like garlic cream fettuccine from a lot of places. Mm-hmm. I love it from CPK. And my husband was such a snob. Like, he was such a CPK hater before.
Yeah.
Before I showed him the way.
You converted him to your religion.
I remember, I think there's just something about pasta that you think you're not going to get a really good one at a chain restaurant.
Yeah.
You think it's just going to be...
I disagree.
Really?
I mean,
You eat more, more
and
pastas
also,
at chain restaurants than I do.
The Italian one, An Olive Garden, I don't think you're going to get a good pasta. Old Spaghetti Factory, I don't think you're going to get a great pasta.
Then I think that's what it is. You don't expect to get a better pasta than pizza sometimes at a pizza place.
Sure.
Right.
Yes.
And I remember when I first gave it to my husband and he was like, probably rolling his eyes like every second before he put it in his mouth. Oh, that's a sentence. And he loves it. Like, it's a staple in our relationship.
It's like a baby having sugar for the first time and you see their eyes like...
Yeah. It's very like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Not to like compare your husband to a baby or anything.
He is my big baby. It's creamy. It's not overly thick. The sauce, I feel like it's coated soup. They give you lots of sauce too. I think that's one of my favorite parts is like as you're twisting your noodle in the pasta, it's the bowl
what a sentence.
Man, these reviews we read earlier
really
set us up.
They were
our last episode.
Very saucy.
It just feels like they give you enough of everything so that no bite is missing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can get different protein in it. And
you have a score for it?
I gave it an 8.5.
8.5. That's respectable.
Yeah.
I got a pasta as well. I got the spaghetti bolognese. This is my go-to order at CPK. And it hit,
Yeah.
It's a hit with me. It's literally just noodles and meat sauce.
Yeah.
Done well.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's the basics that matter, but the sauce here just has a nice, like the meat really comes through. It's flavorful. It's rich. The sauce I don't like it when it's like watery. It's like, it's like got a good consistency to like, but there's enough of it that it melds with all the pasta. I put some crushed red pepper on it, get some heat.
Great choice.
And what did I give this? I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I think for a chain restaurant to be hitting an 8 out of 10 on your entree, and it's a consistent entree, pair that with the Thai crunch salad, which I gave a 10 to. Like, CPK is one of my favorite chains for this reason. They've got that 1-2 punch of a salad and a pasta that I just really love.
And like they do it so consistently every time. I've never had overcooked noodles there. Or under,
I don't know if I have either. Yeah,
I think they're just really consistent.
Yeah. Okay, so before we talk about the other element of food that was like definitively good, I want to talk about a half element that was good.
Okay.
There's the bread and the oil. The oil, I think, belongs here.
Yeah, I totally
agree. The oil mix. It's olive oil. It's just one of God's gifts to men, so to speak. It is, and like they season it with. It's like you worked there.
Herbs. Herbs, baby.
It works.
Yeah, it's good.
It brings up the bread. Like the bread and oil as a combo also belong in good. The bread by itself, we'll talk about it.
And that was a change when they did that change at the tail end of me working there. They had done it differently for the whole time.
Yeah.
They did bread and butter, and it was like white bread and butter.
Yeah.
The whole time.
I remember
and then they changed it to a little more rustic.
Oh, it's like a barrel.
Oh, and it definitely helped the vibe. I think like it's a good vibe setter.
Yeah, it's the first thing you get, and it's just like, here's what the Italians do.
Wink, wink. We know.
Yeah.
We've read about it.
We're from California, but also. Italians and Californians, they both got their hand motions.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a CPK right here.
That's how they talk. Yeah. There's like a wave, and then it's like a...
Oh, mamma mia.
I'm just patting my belly now.
All right, so bring up...
Okay.
What was the last major good thing about this experience?
It is the CPK butter cake and ice cream.
Which I actually had a coupon for a free dessert of a different dessert.
I know.
And you were like, no, man. The butter cake. And I was like, all right, I'm yielding to...
You gotta trust me on this one. And you did. And I thank you for that because I never had ooey gooey. I always say ooey gooey, by the way.
I know.
I never had gooey butter cake from Missouri, which is like a staple of St. Louis.
Yeah.
And I didn't even put the connection that this might be a rendition, but this is so good. It's got a little crispy outer layer to it. Like it's a cake, but it's got a little crispiness on the outside, and the middle is so soft and moist. They
ask if we wanted ice cream. It's a scoop of Haagen-Dazs vanilla, and it's just, it's being encased by it's like sinking into the butter cake.
Infusion.
It's like a crater. And It is a very good dessert. I don't think this is like.
Yeah.
Have you been to Mastro's before?
No, I have not.
So their butter cake is like a thing they're like famous. It will blow your mind.
Man.
But this is very good with an asterisk to me.
Okay.
The bread quality almost feels like the store-bought shortbread.
Interesting.
To me, it wasn't as gooey as maybe you felt it was.
You know what I'm going to I'm going to ask you to try this dessert again one time because in the middle, you got to get to that middle.
I did.
I feel like the
but
middle.
I did still really like this.
Ooh, sits so well.
So I feel like while this wasn't, oh my God, so good, it was still, yeah, I'm definitely into this.
Okay.
Good.
I gave this a crazy high score.
I mean, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, I gave it a 9.
But
okay.
I've got a sweet tooth, so like desserts always skew higher for me.
All right, fair enough.
So 8 out of 10. That's the good. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and for me personally, there's 3 more things I can put in the good. The atmosphere, I go 1 thumb up.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's not full on 2, but it's 1 thumb up. The service, 1 thumb up.
Totally.
And the food is 2 thumbs up.
Food is 5 thumbs up.
There is an anchor, and we will get to that.
I know.
So that is the good. These are all the things that we are going to consider in the score and balance them against the not good.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to talk about the not good.
This is not so good. I'm not quite sure about it. Could have done without it. The stuff that brings down the mood. This is just not very good.
Holly.
Yeah. We both know.
The original barbecue chicken pizza sucks. The original barbecue chicken pizza sucks.
Oh my God.
I took a bite of this.
Yeah.
And I set it back down on the plate and I was like, that's it for me.
They give you how many slices in a pizza? They give you like 8 slices?
6 or 8, yeah.
6 big slices. And each of us did not finish 1 slice.
I think we both took a bite and
Yeah.
then you were like, I just want to get to the crust. And I took 1 more bite, just turning around and having only crust.
I know.
This flavor combination they've gotten famous off of it,
Yeah.
but I don't think they belong together.
I think it almost speaks to the lack of innovation in pizzas in the United States for sure when this came out and that this was such a groundbreaking pizza.
Yeah.
Because now you look at it and you're like, oh, it's not that crazy to me anymore. Obviously, I'm oversaturated with CPK, but it's not that as crazy as it probably was.
Yeah.
And it's just too sweet. Like not a fan. I love onion. I love the components.
Well, I don't like cheese. I do eat pizza, and it's like one of the only exceptions I make. And so changing up the things that I am now having cheese on, having chicken and barbecue sauce near cheese for me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not feeling it. But like, even still, just chicken on pizza in general, I don't like.
You don't like it?
I'm a pepperoni guy.
I love chicken on pizza.
And like bacon.
I love what CPK does. I think they have other experimental pizzas that are 10 times better than this, but we had to get this one because it's the one that they're known for.
It's the one that you're going to find in like all the grocery stores.
But they do some crazy stuff. They do some wacky things at CPK. And
Who's this character?
This is me when I go to sleep at night thinking about CPK.
Yeah. I do crazy things.
It's an inflatable guy outside of a... I just think for this being the one they're most known for, it is like very disappointing.
Yeah.
When you eat it.
I would go so far as to say I hated this pizza. And this isn't even against CPK's pizza because I usually just get their pepperoni and I'm usually very satisfied with it. If I'm going pizza at CPK, I'm good with a pepperoni.
I get their taco pizza or their...
That sounds inventive.
It's so good.
Yeah.
They do like...
Can you please do this while you say that?
It's gnarly, bro.
Great.
It's...
Hang 10.
They have some other pizzas with salads on them. They, like you mentioned, the Jamaican jerk pizza. Like they have some really cool stuff.
They have Thai chicken. They have a carne asada pizza.
For this to be the one that put them on the map, it's so surpassed by their other recipes at this point.
Yeah. So I went 1.5 out of 10. Screw this pizza.
I gave it a 5.
You gave it a 5?
Yeah.
No.
Because
this was a bad pizza.
I gave it
this
5,
is not a middle
5 for
pizza.
Innovation.
No.
Oh.
No, I reject that.
I love CPK's crust, so you know I enjoy the crust. So like I was excited to eat the crust, and I did give it a 5 for innovation. So
look, your rating is your rating. I just don't agree with it.
I understand,
but
I understand because you couldn't stomach the pizza.
Yeah, I thought it sucked.
Yeah,
I hated it. And for it to be so popular angers me. I'm just like, really? Guys, go to CPK and try literally the whole rest of the menu and you'll be happier.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't it.
Okay.
That wasn't the only bad thing here. I think they were trying to start a fight with their bread portion. There's 2 people and they served us 2.5 pieces of bread, which first of all, that's crazy to decide for you. I'm going to cut a slice of bread in half. You don't get the full piece. But I hate an uneven bread distro. And I know it's the standard because odd numbers look more interesting, like from a plating standpoint. Yeah. But like the half piece of bread really felt like they were putting a cigarette out on my skin. It just felt like, why are you doing this to me?
I know. I didn't care as much about the bread scenario because I knew we're going to be eating so much bread today.
I'm just a principled guy.
But I understand where you're coming from of like, that's, if you're going to have consistency everywhere else, what's that mean?
Make it symmetrical.
Yeah.
Make it divisible by the number of patrons. And like, I've gone to places where like for 4 people, they give you 5. Or, something. And I'm just like, you're trying to start a fight.
And I promise you, there is a set, there's a certain amount that they're probably supposed to give.
It's like a flow chart for number of people.
There is no way it's half.
Yeah.
There's no way it's half.
Yeah.
Those breads, if you've noticed, the bread like breaks itself in half. So there's no way she went back there and was like, click.
Yeah. Click. It's a Lego.
Yeah, it's a Lego. That's probably why.
Yeah. And so it angered me.
Yeah, I can tell.
I'm fuming.
I know.
Yeah. Because it's very hot today. I know this comes out in December. This is recorded months ago.
Yeah.
When the world was on fire. It still might be in December.
Oh, for sure.
You don't know. We don't know the trajectory.
It's California.
Yeah. Screw that portion. And then the bread itself, I felt like without oil doesn't really stand on its own. But with the oil, I think it's good.
I like it. I like the bread. I think it's decent. I think it's good.
I went 4.5 without the oil, but like with the oil, it jumps up to like a 7.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think 7's a good number.
Yeah.
I have another bad one, but I feel like
jump in.
We didn't try this today, but it's something that I'm familiar with CPK in general. Is they have the worst beer selection.
Do they?
They have a terrible beer selection, and it's like very easy nowadays to have a good beer selection.
Right.
And I feel like at every other aspect, like of their dining, the food, the taste of, I think some of their like non-alcoholic drinks is really good. Their beer selection is so basic. How do you have innovative pizzas and then you're like, Michelob Ultra? I just feel like I'm disappointed by their beer selection because I feel like they take a lot of care in everything else.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, and I mean, doing well in a lot of places actually highlights the things you don't do well.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, so this is one that like I'm on the fence of even including it, but I'll say it. I went in the restaurant. I got there probably 5 minutes before you. I went into the restaurant because I just wanted to like, grab a couple pictures for social media and stuff like that. No one in the like people saw me standing there. No one came up or even acknowledged my and like, look, if it's like 30 seconds, that's fine. It was like 3 or 4 minutes of just like, if I did want a table in that moment, I would have been kind of annoyed that people are making eye contact with me and then ignoring me. I don't know what you've worked in restaurants. I'm sure you're more forgiving.
Oh, for sure.
But like,
I'd be like, I'll actually do your job for you. That's how I probably would operate.
But like, I don't know. There is an element of like acknowledgement. But then like, tell me like, hey, it'll be a couple minutes.
Can I rebuttal you with, we did go, CPK opens at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
You beat me there. So you were there right when they opened. There might have been a slight discombobulation of, I got to go do this other thing my manager needs me to do before we open, before I see. I'm just not going back to my days of like,
sure,
I'm not ready. Shit.
Yeah. It didn't. I feel like I'm acting more bothered than I like. It's fine. Yeah. I'm not like I feel like I'm not a demanding customer in my interactions to the servers. I'm not going to make their day more difficult, but I do have just things I notice. And I guess not like, I'm just big on like, look, even if it's going to be 15 minutes before you can get to me, just sit down and be like, hey, we're really slammed right now. I will be with you. Just, if you hang tight.
I know. People undervalue just communicating to a potential customer, a check-in. Like, that's all it takes. You could be slammed out of your mind. You could be giving probably pretty bad service, but if you tell the customer, this is what's going on.
Yes.
I think they're a whole shift of you.
I'm on your team now.
Exactly.
And I think that's so important, and it's done so seldomly, or at least at these chain restaurants, it's done so seldomly. And it to me goes so far.
I totally agree. I think at chain restaurants, that is like one of the things that is consistently bad is you walk in and there's not a lot of care to greet you.
Yes.
Can I tell a quick story about this time that I was serving? And I'm serving at this really, really cute, cool little spot. And my family came to visit, and it was a Friday night. It was slammed.
Yeah.
My mom, my brother, my sister, and I, in my head, and what they know to be true is like, look, you guys are my family. You're going to tip me no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm going to give better customer care and attention to everyone else.
Right.
I am slammed out of my gourd, and I'm so busy. I'm giving my family what they need. And then at the end of the meal, I like drop the check off to my family. And I was like, how so? How was it?
And they were like, this sucked.
My mom straight up was like, so savage. She was like, the service was bad. And I was like, girl.
Was this CPK?
No, it was a different place. I was like, what? Girl, I'm your daughter. You're going to tell me.
Have my back.
Like, it is slam. Why'd you come on a Friday night if you want baby girl's attention?
Oh, you didn't know that? Did you know that?
I did not know they were coming either. No. So it's just funny that even when it's your mommy, service matters.
Yeah. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I gave a tour to my mom when I was a tour guide at Universal Studios, and like she stayed at the hotel I used to work at a few times, and she would tip me well.
Oh my God, Michael.
But I also gave good service.
You probably were the best Universal Studios tour guide.
Yeah, but it's not my dream job exactly.
I know, but it's just a curse you have that you'd be really good at that too. You're you're good at showing people an experience. Yeah.
Thank you. The other food and beverage item that I had that I didn't really like was the fresh strawberry mango cooler.
Oh, no.
It was just kind of whatever, but a little on the like, it wasn't as fun as I wanted it to be. I don't really know how to put it. Just like mango or strawberry, pick one, but I didn't love the combo. I went 4.5 out of 10.
And the presentation was a little underwhelming. If it's going to be a specialty non-alcoholic drink, like, it doesn't have to be served just like a soda.
They just they did have a lime slice on top.
I know.
Floating. It was like, like something you need to scoop out.
Soda's a Pellegrino has a lime slice. I mean, get real. I got the lemonade, and I'm a big fan of their lemonade.
Yes.
It's really tart. It does not taste like it's pre-made or anything. It tastes fresh.
Did you have a score for it?
I'd give their lemonade an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I think it's really good lemonade. Okay. This was probably my biggest annoyance of the meal is we talked about the portion size and the plating of the white corn guac, and that was great. Because
Perfect
appetizer.
Because it was a container filled to the brim with the contents.
Super shareable, like really easy to share. Yeah. Then they brought your salad, normal plate. They brought the pizza last, normal plate. They brought the pastas. And the pastas were, I would say, inspired by UFOs. The dishes, the shape of it was an inverse UFO.
It looked like a cymbal, like a crash cymbal on a drum set.
Yes!
It was like a small dome, and then like...
It took up...
like one of those rice hats?
A full quarter, 100%. It took up a full quarter of the table just to have this plate on it.
It was like the plate real estate was like competitive. I felt like the table was being gentrified. Like,
absolutely.
I had like all the things were like, look, I'm just taking up the space I need. And then this fucking guy walks in
absolutely.
Like, I'm just going to spread out.
It was obnoxious.
So you're eating out of like a area maybe that round, maybe? And the plate is this round. It's like, I don't need this much Like, is it if you drop it, it slides back in? Is it like the Thunderdome?
I don't know. They used to serve them in bowls. And here's my theory. My theory is that, like everything nowadays, they're probably adjusting their portion sizes and giving less pasta, which is fine. They already give a lot of pasta. I bet you that they're giving less, and the bigger bowls are a little, or the bigger dishes are an optical illusion. Yeah. I bet.
Well, we see through the illusion.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame on you, CPK.
Shame on those plates. Nobody should have a plate like that. Nobody.
That said, there's not a ton else bad to talk about.
Mm-mm.
So we are going to pit the good against the not good.
Okay.
But before we do that, I want to talk about what was just there.
Okay.
This is a weird one. I'm not quite sure what to say about it. Yeah. This is for the stuff that is just there.
So, as far as just there, you're a restaurant in Burbank, California. There's Hollywood decor on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a picture of the Hollywood sign, but then there's like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, so not Hollywood, but you know,
California. Yeah.
It's California pizza, and it felt to me like easy. It felt too like it wasn't good, but it wasn't.
I totally
bad.
agree. Yeah, it was truly just there. Like I felt like I mentioned rustic before, but it's because there was a lot of wood.
Yeah,
a lot of wood tables. The chairs were wood, and it just kind of felt like it looks fine.
Right.
It was very fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
The decor choices were just there.
Mm-hmm.
Above you said they open cook the pizza.
Uh-huh.
There's a sign that says your uniquely talented certified pizza chef, Adrian C., which sounds very similar to the wickedly talented
Adele
Dazeem. But like just you're uniquely talented. Like, look, you're all trained to make pizza.
I know.
So like it's by definition not unique.
Right.
And that sign it made me laugh a little. Also, it was really high up that I don't believe that they change it out. I just think
I was just about to say, are we supposed to just call are they like
they're all all managers are Jake.
And all pizza makers
chefs
are Adrian C.
Adrian C. Not Adrian D, who was mentioned in the really thirsty Yelp review from last week.
Mentioned with the no, we don't need to talk about it, but it just blew my mind that she included the last initial.
Yeah.
Adrian C. Adrian's a popular CPK name.
But then the last thing that was just there, and I shouldn't need to go into this, but it didn't smell like sewage.
Hooray.
Now, you've not been to this location before, but it often.
Well, I worked at Flappers Comedy Club.
Oh, okay.
Which used to be a macaroni grill. And,
is that true?
Before it was Flappers. And boy, oh boy, do I smell that Burbank sewage.
So I don't think of Burbank as like a big sewage place.
No.
But like that 2-block space.
Yeah.
There is a creep.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Of smells.
Yeah.
And it is sewage. And nowhere is it more pronounced usually than at that CPK.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't.
I didn't smell it at all. I
so
forgot.
I'm not going to give it props because I don't think they had anything to do with it. But I can't knock it. So it was just there.
Yeah. And it is special to like go to a place and be like, hey, you know what? You guys don't smell like farts.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank you so much.
CPK?
Yeah.
You don't smell like farts. You're winning. Okay. So that's all the elements.
All right.
So we got to put all this together, balance the good with the not good, see where it churns out a score.
Oh, boy.
But before we do that, you've not been to the 80-ish restaurants that I've been to on this journey so far. You need to calibrate your scale.
Thank you so much.
So we need to take a little stop at the calibration station.
Calibration station, comparing this meal to the best of the worst. Calibration station, chugga, choo-choo.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you to calibrate your scale. I want to know what would be your 0, what would be your 10? What's the worst restaurant experience you've ever had, and what's the best?
So I would say my worst restaurant experience was at Universal Studios. Orlando. And it was
Florida gonna Florida.
And it was at a you're gonna love this. An earthquake themed restaurant.
Okay.
And as somebody from California, not my cup of tea. I'm not looking for more of that.
Who wants to go and be like, hey, you know your trauma? We made a restaurant around it.
Can you imagine? I feel like if we on the West Coast had a Twister restaurant, they'd be like, absolutely not. Like, that's terrifying.
Wildfire Cafe. I don't want to go there.
Actually, that exists probably. So this is an earthquake themed restaurant. And the best part about it, so like the theming was generally just, I don't know, like askew. Like everything was a little askew. And it was like burgers, shakes, of course. Ooh. So I did like that tie-in. I get a burger, I get a shake with my brother, and I take a bite into my burger. And not only does the burger taste horrifying, the restaurant starts to shake.
Is that like a theme of
that? Is a thing I did not know.
It's like the rainstorms at Rainforest Cafe.
Yes, but it's not just an ambient sound. It is a full tilt. You're
on a ride
shaking while eating a terrible burger. So when you're like just eating a bad burger, trying to scratch an itch, you're like, okay, fine. It's a burger. Burgers are good. But if you're eating a burger through an earthquake and the burger's not even good, you're like, I don't want to die like this. So
that's an amazing thought.
I give that a 0.
This is how I go.
It was just,
all right.
Why would you? The theme was so bad that it made the bad food worse.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So that was my 0. My 10 is recent, actually.
Yeah.
And it is part of this restaurant group by this kind of company, the Houston Brothers.
Sure.
And it's this place called Level 8. It's a multi-dining experience. So you have different themed bars, and they're all very interactive and immersive. Like, honestly, you'd love it. It kind of reminds me of a super fancy theme park restaurant.
Okay.
In the most upscale way possible.
Is it in LA?
It's in downtown LA.
Okay.
And this place has multiple restaurants in them. They all have themes. They all have some crazy thing that happens in them, and they're beautifully decorated.
They're all earthquake themed.
They're all natural disasters. Yeah. One of them, you'd bring a swimsuit. The one I went to is called K Barbaro. It's a Brazilian restaurant.
Okay. Is it like the Brazilian steakhouse with the card that you flip and they keep bringing meat?
No, not like that, but it's just Brazilian food.
Okay.
And it is absolutely delicious. But the thing that really set it apart for me was the decoration. You were so immersed like you were in a rainforest. Ooh, Rainforest Cafe. But it was so tastefully done and beautiful. And the server, oh my God, I thought I knew what I wanted going into eating at this restaurant. I looked at the menu ahead of time. I sit down. This server is absolute, like, I am drooling by the end of her talking about these dishes. And she absolutely convinced us to change our entire order with no regrets. I didn't walk away going like, wow, I should have picked the thing that I wanted the whole time. 10 out of 10 service, 10 out of 10 decor. The food absolutely matched the hype and superseded it. So
I love an experience like that.
I think having the theme park experience to the another immersive dining experience, like I love an immersive experience.
I get it. And somewhere in between those two lies California Pizza Kitchen.
Wow.
So we've got the good elements, a lot of food items.
Okay.
We've got, like I said, my favorite salad, but you do have, you have an uninspiring bathroom. You didn't really talk about the bathroom. It was uninspiring.
Nothing to talk about.
That's literally it.
Right?
It was just there. But like all of these factors, the push and pull, the good, the not good, it's going to make it go to a score.
Mm-hmm.
Does CPK fall more towards good, towards not good, or is it the perfect 5.00 right in the middle?
Final rating.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. It is time to reveal the final score.
If it falls towards more towards good.
I had a feeling.
It falls more. I mean, for me, it falls more towards a dream. But
okay.
It falls towards good. It's just got good quality and great consistency, and enough theming, or not enough theming necessarily, but enough tasteful decor that that
you'll forgive a errant Hollywood sign
and a plate that is bigger
moving
than the biggest frisbee you've ever seen in your life. Yeah, it's
biggest frisbee. Yeah,
I did kind of want to throw it and see what happened. Sure. See would it wobble?
We are no longer allowed here. Yeah,
we're much like him from the last episode. But yeah, I would say it's absolutely in the camp of good.
You had to give it a number?
I'm gonna have to firmly give this a 7.5.
Like, how do you rate one of your kids? 7.5.
I mean,
yeah. I am not as high as you, but I'm very close. but I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. So you went 7.5, roundish number, right? Usually I'm like in the weeds. I'm in the decimal points.
Yeah.
7.48, 6.92, whatever. I think CPK defines cleanly one of the numbers on the scale. I went 7.00.
Wow.
So while I'm looking for the perfect 5.00, I found the perfect 7.00. CPK 7.00 from me. When you put it together with your score, CPK goes up on the tchotchke of mediocrity at a 7.25.
Wow. Oh my God. This is glorious.
Which makes it 1/100th better than the melting pot. And I agree with that. Like, that feels right.
Okay. I've never been to Melting Pot. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to be very biased.
This is 1 percent point less than CPK. And that means CPK is definitively better than mediocre.
Better than mediocre. It's better than a Cracker Barrel.
And better than mediocre is not the same as perfectly mediocre, which means next week I gotta go somewhere else. I gotta dig into the You Must Bowl to see where I'm gonna go next time.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to dive into the history of
Arctic Circle Restaurant.
Oh, wow. I've heard of that.
Awesome. So I'm going to the Arctic Circle burger chain. And what are the odds that it's my Christmas episode? There's no way that's rigged.
I think it is.
My guest is literally Santa Claus.
What if I have a panic attack?
He came.
You know him?
Yeah. And he's going to help me figure out the naughty and the nice of that restaurant.
Gorgeous.
Get it?
I don't. No, I get it.
I don't get it. Holly, thanks so much for coming on the Fine Dining Podcast, the search for the most mediocre restaurant in America. Super fun having you.
Thank you.
Can you just tell people where they can find you on social media?
Yes, you can find me as CPK Lover #1 on social media. You can find me and my comedy at Holly Brown Comedy on Instagram. You can also follow my show, my stand-up show at Salty AF on Instagram, and check out where I'm going to be performing next.
And you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Fine Dining Podcast. You can send me an email about any thoughts you have. They don't even have to be related to the show. Just say, hey, be like, oh, I hate my kids. Whatever. finediningpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want more of the show, I do a Patreon where I do extended Yelp from Stranger segments, exclusive episodes every month, all that fun stuff. That's patreon.com/finediningpodcast. We didn't find the most mediocre restaurant in America. The search does, in fact, continue. We'll see you next time.
Have a fine day.
The search continues. We still need the perfect five. The search continues. Like and subscribe. The search continues. Our journey did not conclude. The mother effing search continues. Write us an iTunes review. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and make it 5 stars, huh? Come on. Follow us on TikTok, the same on Instagram, all the socials at Fine Dining Podcast. We have a website, finediningpodcast.com. Buy our t-shirts, then put them on. And don't forget, you can always suggest where we go next. Okay, we're going to find it. Mediocrity. The search continues. See you next week. Hurt my throat a little.
Have a fine day.